Google is coming off one of the boldest smartphone design streaks we've ever seen. From the Pixel 6 all the way through to the Pixel 10, every generation has brought a complete or near-complete redesign. New shapes, new camera bar treatments, new colors, new materials. No other modern smartphone brand has iterated visually as aggressively as Google. Pixel phones look fantastic. They're instantly recognizable. The camera bar is iconic, and the color choices are some of the best in the industry. But with the Pixel 11 on the horizon and early leaks and rumors starting to surface, it's time to talk about the part of Pixel hardware nobody sees in renders or promo shots, how these phones actually feel in the hand. Because right now, the Google Pixel 10 series has a design problem you can't see. It's not the aesthetics, it's the fundamentals. The Pixel 10 is simply too thick and too heavy, and if Google doesn't fix this with the Pixel 11, I'm out. Let's get into why. First, a bit of context. Google's own hardware chief, Rick Osterloh, has said that Pixel phones are now on a 2 to 3 year design refresh cycle. Translation: don't expect every Pixel generation to look radically different anymore. The kind of generation-to-generation overhauls we saw from Pixel 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 are going to be the exception, not the rule. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It actually creates a huge opportunity. If Google isn't spending every year reinventing what a Pixel looks like, it can finally focus on how a Pixel is built. This is the moment to take all that creative energy that used to go into visual redesigns and pour it into hardware engineering, weight optimization, materials, and ergonomics. And that's exactly where the Pixel 10, and potentially the Pixel 11, if nothing changes, falls short. On paper and in photos, the Pixel 10 is a beautifully designed phone. The camera bar is refined, the finishes are clean, and the color options are genuinely compelling. If we were just judging smartphones by their marketing renders, the Pixel 10 would be in the top tier. But real-world hardware isn't just about how a device looks. It's about how efficiently it uses space, how it distributes weight, and how it feels during the hours you actually hold it every single day. Here's the blunt truth. Google Pixel phones are overwhelmingly and consistently thicker and heavier than their direct competition. And that is not a category where you want to be trailing. Take the base Google Pixel 10. It weighs 204 grams. Now compare that to its rivals, Samsung Galaxy S26, roughly 37 grams lighter than the Pixel 10, iPhone 17, about 27 grams lighter than the Pixel 10 that might not sound like much on paper. But in your hand, it's the difference between solid and premium, and wow, this is kind of a brick. To put it into even clearer perspective, the official Google Pixel 10 silicone case with Pixel Snap magnets comes in at around 34 grams. Most cases for most smartphones land somewhere between 30 and 50 grams. That means you can take an iPhone 17 or a Galaxy S26, put a normal case on it, and the total weight in your hand will be comparable to, or even lighter than, a naked Pixel 10 with no case at all. Think about that. A bare Pixel 10 feels like a cased flagship from Apple or Samsung. That's not a small gap. That's a hardware efficiency problem, and weight is only half the story. Now let's talk thickness. The Google Pixel 10 measures 8.6mm thick. That already puts it among the thicker mainstream flagship phones on the market. But what makes this more frustrating is that Google actually made it thicker than the Pixel 9, which came in at about 8.5mm. In an era where competitors are shaving fractions of a millimeter off their designs with each generation, Google added 0.1mm of thickness to an already thick phone. Part of that increase can be attributed to internal QI2 magnets and the Pixel Snap magnetic accessory system. And yes, that's a cool feature. But here's the thing. The base iPhone 17 also has QE2 magnets built in, and it's still only around 7.95mm thick. So not only is the Pixel 10 heavier, it's also noticeably thicker than key rivals from Apple and Samsung, even when they offer similar magnetic charging and accessory capabilities. And we haven't even brought ultra-slim devices like the Samsung Galaxy S25 Edge or the iPhone Air into the conversation yet. When you do, the Pixel starts to look even more behind the curve. This isn't just about bragging rights on a spec sheet. It's a usability issue. A thinner and lighter phone is simply easier to live with. It's more comfortable to hold for long periods. It causes less wrist and finger fatigue over months and years of use. It lets you add a protective case without turning your device into a tank. It plays nicer with magnetic wallets, stands, and accessories without feeling bulky. We all spend hours a day on our phones. That extra 30-40 grams of weight and that extra millimeter of thickness are not abstract numbers. They're something you feel every single time you pick the device up. So why is this happening? Why are Google's Pixel phones, especially the Pixel 10, trending in the opposite direction of the rest of the industry? If Google were pushing boundaries with groundbreaking materials or form factors, the trade-off might make more sense. If the Pixel 10 was pioneering something wild, like a radical new metal composite, ultra-thin foldable glass, or a unique texture that dramatically improved grip and durability, you could at least say, okay, it's thicker and heavier, but we're getting something truly new for it. That's not what's going on here. The Pixel 10 series is built from one of the most conventional flagship pairings in the smartphone world. Aluminum and glass. It's a classic combo. There's nothing wrong with it. But by 2026, companies have absolutely mastered how to make aluminum and glass phones thin, light, strong, and premium. Just look around the industry. You've got phones with refined aluminum frames that are slimmer but still rigid. Custom glass formulations with better scratch resistance and less reflection. Vegan leather backs from brands like Motorola and OnePlus that add grip and shave a bit of weight. Hybrid materials and clever internal layouts designed specifically to cut down thickness and mass against that backdrop. Google is playing it very safe with the Pixel 10's materials, yet still landing on the wrong